Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried and Jensen. As proud sponsors of BeliefCast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
And we are back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires BeliefCast. Thank you for tuning in once again. I love you guys. Your support is just overwhelmingly beautiful to me, and the gratitude I have for you is just so much. And we're helping so many people with all this, and that's the beautiful thing about this. People ask me all the time, why is this successful? Because I don't make it about me. I make it about the people that come on, some amazing people. And today we're joined with a very special guest. You guys, most of you have heard him, know this. When I say this name, you'll know who he is, Big Budah.
So T, how you doing, brother?
Oh, so good to have you. Seriously, this is like an
thank
honor.
You. You're leading by example, and this is something that I've always done as a kid is don't act like you know. Just because you've seen it and being happening in front of you doesn't mean you can actually do it. You doing it. You're the expert. It's kind of like being in a motorcycle club. I haven't been in one, but all the movies and the TV shows that I've seen, when you get into a new town, you got to check in with them. So this is your space. I'm checking in with you. I know you're helping a lot of people, but I need help to figure out how to navigate this space. You've been doing it. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for doing all the good work you're doing, bro. Seriously.
Appreciate that so much. Let me give a shout out to our sponsors really quick. Wasatch Recovery, Siegfried and Jensen, Thread Wallets, Living Recovery Interventions, and Mountain West Spine and Orthopedics, and Veracity Networks. Thank you so much for believing in me and helping me get this out to many, many hundreds of thousands of people now, which is, again, mind-blowing. Little background on Big Budah. He's appeared in some featured movies like The RM and Forever Strong. Forever Strong is one of my favorite movies. I love that show.
That's a crazy movie because here locally, the Relief Society ladies like to come up to me and like, my favorite scene, and they do this, and I'm like, sister, we're in a church right now, right? And like, oh, stop it. I'm like, no, seriously, we're in a church.
We're in a church. Please don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to watch the movie. You understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, sorry.
Well, you've opened up as a stand-up comedian. I didn't know too much about that. That's interesting, right?
Yep. Wow. Wise Guys, a good friend of mine, Keith Stubbs, he's the owner of Wise Guys. So somebody couldn't make it. He said, hey, would you mind? I'm like, I've never been a stand-up. So he helped me formulate some jokes, and so checked it off the bucket list. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. You've been up there with some, Bill Bellamy, Tracy Morgan. I mean, some big names. Yeah. That's really cool. But most of you will know him. He's become part of Utah's media landscape for the past 20 years. And really what I love about you is just your energy, your positivity, the stuff. You just really bring an energy that most people just love and fall in love with.
Too kind. Thank you, T.
It's
Appreciate
true.
it, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're currently serving as executive director for your nonprofit Budahful Mind Foundation, which we're going to talk more about. I can't wait for our listeners to hear this, and sharing your story of survival and a message of prevention and self-love and care. And so, there's so much more we can talk about, but why don't we just get right to it and tell us a little bit about your upbringing?
So, my parents, my dad was the first person to migrate from Samoa. My grandparents were the first non-white to live in Compton, California. It was a suburb. It was nice.
Right.
Lights worked. I mean, that's what I've been told. I was very young and couldn't really remember what things were, but my grandparents wrote down in journals, and my uncles and aunts, they were one of the first non-white families that moved into Compton before it became an inner city, and before drugs and gangs, took over the city.
Yeah.
So I was born in San Bruno, in the Bay Area, San Francisco. About, I want to say maybe somewhere between 2 to 4 months. My parents moved to Southern California to be with my dad's parents because they were moving from California. So I'm jumping through a lot here, but my dad was a military guy. He served in the military, Vietnam era, that kind of stuff. I believe Dad was training to be a helicopter mechanic. and later on he worked there for Japan Airlines. So I had pictures being on the tarmac, being in those big helicopters next to my. Those were the days where you could do stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, people are like, "What? You can't be?" Yeah, no, you can't do that now.
Yeah.
No,
you get arrested.
Yeah. But if you worked on the tarmac, if you worked in the airport, you could bring your kid. Man, I have pictures sitting on these big old helicopters, just a little kid sitting on the edge. I look like I'm cold. I'm just shivering. But my dad worked for Japan Airlines. He was a mechanic. We were living in Compton, California. My dad, we were poor, product of the system, welfare, food stamps.
Oh, really? Wow.
I don't know if anybody else knows. Well, probably my age and a little bit older. The 5-pound blocks of cheese, the government issued cheese. Oh yeah, those were, and
that was a real thing.
Yeah, it was a real thing. It was always square at the top, but it curved at the bottom because you could never cut it straight as a kid. Yeah, so it was like cutting a C into the cheese. Dad was a career student. He was he was in that belief. Education is it. I got to get education so I can get a better job. So he was working, very poor jobs, but trying to put himself through school. Yeah. Dad ended up graduating. My mom was a caretaker. She was at home. She taught a lot of us. We weren't home taught. We weren't homeschooled, but mom did a lot of the schooling. So when we went to school, we were really, really prepared. I remember mom drilling ABCs, 1, 2, 3, times tables. I mean, we read books. We read books when we didn't want to read books.
Right.
I was a dumbass. I was a smart ass. So my mom says, go read a book. So I heard girls in my class. I'm in 6th grade. So I, as a form of rebellion, go and get this book that I heard girls talking about. Dear God, It's Me, Margaret. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not a book for boys. I'm just saying. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go read this girly book and I'm going to show you, Mom. You want me to read books? And I was like, oh my gosh, I should have not read that book.
Really? Yeah.
I learned about stuff about girls, and I matured really fast. After that book.
Did you get in trouble for reading it, or
no? I didn't tell my mom I read it.
Like, no.
I said no. I'm not gonna compound my troubles with an ass whooping. That's not gonna happen. No. I said, what? But I couldn't put the book down.
Yeah.
So for me, it was riveting at the time. It was a time. Remember, I'm a Pacific Islander who's LDS, and I mean, I had to under the covers like this. I felt like I was watching a dirty magazine.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't, right? It was about the life changing, becoming an adult. Puberty.
Right. Sure.
But I was reading like, oh my gosh, this stuff is really good.
Should I be reading?
No wonder the girls are gossiping at school about this stuff. Oh my gosh, it's really great. Yeah. So I never told Mom that I read that. Sorry, Mom, if you ever listen to this, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Mom, we're sorry.
I had to also read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
So that I can balance it.
Yeah, I got this one now. Okay, I got to balance out my mind.
Yeah.
Wow. So education was a big thing.
It was huge. I was a talented athlete. I had my physicality. I had those. But my mom and dad, they would say things in Samoan, and I'm translating now in English. Are you going to eat the ball? Huh? Will you get full off of a ball? Is that game going to put food on your table? They really didn't flip that mentality of you could get a scholarship from a sports that didn't really sink into my parents until later.
Okay.
It was education. It was get a high GPA so you can get a better job. That was what my mom and dad preached every day. Right. And then you compound it with being LDS. Intelligence. The fear of God is intelligence. Everything you get here, you'll have a better standing in it. So it was all these things. So I mean, my parents were Mormon hardcore, right? Right. But as a kid, you saw that they weren't perfect, Right. So those things didn't really click until later on. Like, wait, I'm aspiring to be this because that's what my parents told me to do, and that's what I see them doing. But every so often, I see them. They're not the perfect.
Yeah, they're struggling.
They're human.
They're human,
but they don't tell us they're human.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of part along the way kind of messed me up. Hide it. Have this great facade. Let everybody see the good you, but hide the bad stuff at home.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up with, and I kind of took as my playbook.
Yeah, which plays a lot of negative emotions
Yeah.
on your mental health.
Yeah.
Right behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
you're kind of burying those stuff. And
Right. So that's kind of a basis of how my life was. On top of that, then the discipline. So that's how my life was. Everything was church this, church that. God can see you. I didn't have a chance. I couldn't really explore myself. You know how typical kids will say, I got to go find myself.
Yeah.
Where am I? What's my identity?
Yeah.
Me and my siblings, and I think a lot of LDS, a lot of Mormon kids, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints kids, probably felt that way. We weren't really given an option to explore.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was sexuality, whether it was drugs, we weren't allowed to explore. We were told it's not good.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yep.
We had, and when we did explore, we had to do it secretly under the covers and not, so it's not a running joke, but it's a comical thing among boys in the Pacific Islander culture who are LDS that, you were out late last night, and now you're blessing the sacrament. Wow.
Yeah.
So between us peers, we knew what was up, but the adults, I'm sure they knew, but they had who else is gonna do it? If we cancel out all these guys, who's gonna? I don't know if that ever hit them, or if they didn't want to believe it that they knew what we were doing the night before,
right.
But then the next day it was like they see us at blessing the sacrament. Like, wait, nobody want to check us? Come on, Uncle. Yeah. Uncle, come on. Right. I mean, it was. And so it was almost like we got away with stuff, but we didn't get away with stuff because they beat the crap out of us.
Yeah.
I can only speak for my household, and I just assume that this is how things were everywhere. I mean, it could be spilling water, and my dad would fly off the handle.
Right.
Whether it was a verbal abuse, you're an idiot, you're dumb, this and that, and or it would be a slap, and it just never matched. Apologies, that's me.
No, that's all right. You're good. No, you're good. I was wondering if I left mine on.
Darn it, guests! What's wrong with you, guests? Come on. You know you're not supposed to have your phone on. What the heck? Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're fine.
Okay.
Just don't forget that.
No, I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apologies for that. So my dad was he took that whole thing with spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah. Is that kind of, for people who don't maybe understand, is that part of the culture
I
that you grew up in? Is kind of like,
that's
it's
a great
pretty
question.
common.
I know, and I'm sure people who have Polynesian friends hear this all the time. They were hit a lot, or they beat. I don't know if it's the culture. I want to say maybe we have adopted it to be culture, but I know that it stems from Christianity. The Pacific Islanders, at least my family, they want to be obedient.
Right.
They want to follow. And if you believe that if you follow these set of rules and it's going to get you to heaven, well, gosh darn it, I want to make sure my kids are following.
Yeah, they better be.
I don't know really. I would be doing a disservice if I came out and I gave you an exact answer.
Sure.
The real reason I don't know.
Okay.
I can only tell you again from my family. My dad, he was abused as a kid. He was beat up every day of his life to a bloody pulp. But and the way to deal with things, that's how he dealt with things. They had only one playbook, right? So that playbook got passed on to me, and I have 5 children, and my 2 older children were able to experience that, the mean discipline, authoritative, yelling, all of that.
Yeah.
I was not good to my first 2 kids. We have 5.
Well, you kind of mirrored what you grew up with, right?
Yeah. And again, please, I'm not making any excuse for my actions. I just didn't know any better.
Sure.
And let's just remember, I grew up in a time where people could discipline me. Strangers were able to discipline me.
Yeah.
I don't think if people remember this, I would be walking around in the store with my mom and dad. I'd reach out and grab a candy bar, and my mom and dad would say no, right? I'm a kid. I'd put it back, but I'd go right back behind their back and grab it. An old lady or an older gentleman would say, hey, didn't your mom and dad just tell you not to? And my mom and dad were okay with that. They're like, yeah didn't I just... Yeah. And then they team up on me. And I was like, lady, you don't even know me.
Right.
I'm not even your kid. And I'm like, I tell my mom and dad, you're going to let this lady. Yeah, no, she's right. What's right is right.
Yeah.
I remember that anywhere I went, this is Southern California, guys. This is 1970, 78. I'm 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't know, but I didn't remember when the break off happened, when it was not okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. It was a disconnect. I remember one day a stranger could tell me what to do and tell me, hey, you're being a bad boy to your parents, to, you can't talk to my kid like that. What?
Yeah.
What is that? I'm just trying to help out.
Yeah. I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things have changed. It's interesting. Huh?
And so and the kids today, they don't know what that's like to be disciplined everywhere and anywhere by anyone.
Yeah.
Whether you were a cop, whether you were a church person,
A teacher.
it didn't matter.
Yeah.
If you were older, you could tell a kid what to do.
Yep.
Nowadays, kids got my phone out. I dare you to tell me what to do. I'm recording you right now, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I didn't know where that happened. There was a disconnect, and I was trying to find my way, helping kids out. And I would say, hey, bro, you can't do that. Shut the hell up. You can't talk to me like that. You're not my dad. You're not even my uncle.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
And then I don't feel safe. Hey, this guy's, I'm like, whoa. I'm just, right. I didn't know where that happened. I didn't know what happened to the world.
Yeah.
And we went from caring about everybody to, no. This is my kid.
Yeah.
You leave them alone.
Yeah.
It kind of confused me a little bit.
For sure.
I don't know if anybody else went through that.
So how many children do you have total?
5.
5. And you said the first 2 you struggled with. What caused the change when you
divorce?
Okay.
Threat of divorce.
Threat of divorce.
Okay. You know, it's like
hey, you're just
self-preservation.
Yeah.
My wife said, hey, you need to get some help.
Yeah.
I love you, and we have a great family, but this thing that you're doing, I can't do it. I got to protect the kids, and I thought maybe you were going to work your way out of it.
Yeah.
And she understood that I didn't have any other playbook, right? But this was her way of helping me fix me. So I went and got counseling, still doing counseling. I think once you get counseling, there's no, how do you live your life without it? I don't understand that part.
It's good. It's just a good barometer. It keeps you in line, keeps you where you need to be going.
And if anything, it serves as a good sounding board, right?
Yeah,
to somebody, I mean,
it's like going to the gym. You
and
gotta stay consistent.
And it's not like I'm saying I'm poo-pooing on my family. I'm not saying that. I said I never talked to you about it before. I said, talking to you about it now, it's new. I will get there. Yeah. But you got to let me find my own way, because it's still new to me. I don't even understand it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if talking to you guys is going to help me, maybe in the long run, but right now I need to talk to the therapist, and I feel like I can open up. I don't know if I can open up with you guys. I'm telling my family this, right? I don't know if I can open up with you, my family, because you know me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like maybe there's still that little hesitancy.
Yes.
Because I don't trust myself to be fully, implicitly honest with you, my family. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong. In your culture, your family means everything.
Yeah.
I mean, family is a big, like, it's your number one importance. And you guys bring everyone in. You guys love everyone.
I just turned 52. My mom still calls me every Saturday if I'm going to go to church. It is. I wish I were making. This is not comic. I'm serious. These are stories, bro.
Yeah.
Like when. So that's the best way I can illustrate how my mom. You can ask any Pacific Islander. She will never not have a say in my life, or my dad. If my dad were alive, my dad passed in 2003, and my uncles and aunts, and I don't know if it's like this with any other cultures. I haven't really done my due diligence and done any research, but until the day my mom is no longer breathing, she will be able to tell me what to do. It's just the way it is.
So she calls you on Saturday and says, hey, are you going to church tomorrow?
Yeah, Mom, yes. And I always push back, and I say, Mom, I'm 52. This past Saturday, July 3rd, right? Son, how are you? It always starts out, how are the kids? How are the grandkids? I saw you were over there, this and that. What are you doing? Okay, are you going to church? Mom, I'm 52 years old. You always ask me, I'm your mother. I'm never going to stop being your mother. If I die, will I stop being your mother? No, Mom, you'll still be. Okay,
Yeah.
so why should I stop doing my job?
Yeah.
I'm like, this lady, why you trying to make me cry, Mom? You trying to make me cry?
Do you dare ever mess with her and say, no, I'm not going?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I say,
Okay.
well, no, I'll be honest with her. Like, football season comes around. Hey, guys, come on. I'm not a monster. I don't go to church sometimes for football season, okay?
Yeah.
So my mom will call me, and if it's during football season, I'll be honest. Are you going to church today? No, Mom, the Raiders are playing an early game, so I'm going to stay home and watch the game. Jen will catch me up. What? You want me to come over there and slap your face? I don't care how old you are. I'll slap your face, Mom. Okay, I'll repent next Sunday. I'm an adult and I'm a grown ass man, but that's my mother. I'm not gonna tell her to shut up or
for sure.
But I will still tell. I'm not gonna lie to her. I'm going to church, and then she sees pictures of me posting. Hey, look at first game of the season. Hey, because she follows me. She'll call me out on it. T.
Yeah, social media. You can't hide anymore, right?
So can't hide it anymore. But family's important in every culture. Family's important.
Sure.
I think we're a little nutso, if you will, when we take our family ties a little bit far than most people. Yeah. But she will always have a say.
Yeah.
My dad was a very heavy-handed man. He held some pretty astute positions for the church. He was a 70 back when 70s were not considered general authorities.
Okay.
But so my past with the church has been not just a member, but my dad was a 70. So in the early days in the 70s, right up until 78, I can remember my uncle is Joseph Freeman. He's the first African American to receive the Melchizedek priesthood in the 70s.
Really?
He was the first one,
wow.
yeah. So they live in Utah. He's active, that kind of stuff. But I remember going with my family and my dad in South Central LA, and we would set up Sunday schools in black neighborhoods. That was our job. So we were trying to spread the gospel to our African American brothers, and we were also the family who were trying to we were the examples of how to facilitate. So for example, I was the reverend child, or my sister was the reverend child up front in front of the congregation. Just so that what that was is that you got to go up and you folded your arms and you just were reminding people, hey, we're at church. Yeah. So instead of the spiritual leader getting up and say, hey, can we keep it quiet and this and that, they would send a youth kid to stand in front of the congregation and just stand there with their arms folded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was the reverend child.
Okay.
So they did that often in Mormon congregations. Okay. So a lot of the times we were that, just standing up front with the arms folded, just smiling and just being quiet. And eventually the congregation would
people get the message.
Yeah. So that's something that we did. But we were also how to facilitate, family home evenings. Those were once a week. Mondays you got together, and so we were going around showing them. You start with a prayer. You start with a song. You throw in a riddle. It's supposed to be fun. You talk. We were helping facilitate teaching families how, if you're going to join the church, these are how the things were done. If you're going to be a Latter-day Saint or a Mormon. Yeah. So again, my mental health comes in here. My parents are, they're trying to do this good and aspire to do good. And I saw glimpses of not a chink in the armor, but the human side of them. Yeah. The side that they never told us that we could have. I just assumed we were just supposed to be spiritual 100, not knowing that, human. It's okay to be human. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be real. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that, you by telling your mom, I'm watching the game today, that's just you being real.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Yeah. And it took me a long time to get to that, T. And I know a lot of Pacific Islanders. Actually, a lot of people who love their moms, they're probably the same way. I don't always say that it's a Pacific Islander thing. Loving your mom is not a poly thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the love that we have as sons for our mothers, that thing is a real thing, man.
It is.
That is a real thing. I don't know what it is, but I remember being in grade school, and I'm sure you remember this. You can talk about anything. You say one thing about my mother, and we're gonna fight.
Oh yeah.
Every
Those
kid.
are fighting words.
Every kid, right?
Yeah. So every kid wants to protect their mom.
Yeah. So I'll tell this story because it's a true story, so that you understand where my mindset was.
Yeah, please do.
I couldn't. It's in the 70s. We're in California. We're living. My dad. We're at home. One of my jobs was to go get the mail. So I'd grab the mail one afternoon. I grab the mail and I open it up. There's a Playboy magazine. It's a subscription. It has my dad's name on it. In my mind, I'm thinking it's my older brother Larry. You know, what a horrible thing.
Yeah.
I went right to that. This dude put a subscription in my dad's name just so he can get I can't wait to tell my dad.
Yeah.
So I walk into the room and I give my dad the mail. I said, Dad, you're not gonna believe what Larry did. He got a subscription of Playboy in your name. He opens it up. He goes, come here. He hits me, spanks me. So how many times I told you never touch the mail? Don't open the mail. Just bring the mail. Don't look at it. Just bring the mail. That's it. So not thinking anything. I know you're connecting it. We're connecting it now because we're adults, right?
Sure.
I'm a kid.
But as a kid,
I don't.
you're not
I'm
figuring
like,
it out.
I can't believe it. I just. He doesn't even want his son, who did the subscription in his name to get beat. He beat me up. What did I do? Man, that's messed up. It wasn't until years later. I'm like sitting in church or something, and I'm like having, I don't know, pity party or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I remember that time. Oh my gosh, it's my dad's magazine. Like my world just blows up. You know what I'm saying, T? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Holy shiz. Oh my gosh. Like I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I thought everybody thought the same thing I did and knew that guy was looking at beauty magazines. It just freaked me out.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't think that my dad would do that, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to tarnish his. I know people because he did a lot of good. I know in the Pacific Islander community, he was a man of. I'm not trying to poo on him. I'm just saying he was a human, right?
Yes.
And I didn't realize that until later.
Yeah.
Even though it happened in front of my eyes.
Yep.
I didn't put two and two together.
Put it together.
No.
Yeah.
And I think at first I was upset at my dad, and then I was like, I just started laughing. I just had this big ass chuckle. I was just laughing my butt off. Like, okay, I'm taking this thing way too. I'm taking this thing way too serious. Okay, he was a man. He had urges.
Right.
Okay, it's a human thing. Just because you're a man of God doesn't mean you don't look at
you still don't struggle.
National Geographic, right? You don't look at. I don't know. Sorry, National Geographic. What? Sorry. I just revealed a little bit about myself. Sorry. Product of the 70s and 80s, guys. Sorry.
National Geographic.
Compton, California. Sorry, my bad. But those are the things I was struggling with, and I didn't really know how to take it because I wasn't taught to show emotions.
Well, when with a lot of my clients, I'll meet with kids and they're struggling with something, right? Something big, and they'll share some really big things with me, and I'll ask them, "Have you shared this with your parents?" And you know what they'll tell me? My parents have done nothing wrong. They won't understand. They won't even get it. And I'm like, well, no, your parents have done things wrong. They just haven't told you. And I think that's what happens is we think our parents are these perfect people who never did anything wrong. And then we're screwing up going, crap, there's no way I could tell them that. Yeah. And then later in life, when we become adults, we start to realize, oh yeah, they weren't perfect. They're human. And so that's a good message you're sharing there.
But don't you think, and I don't know about you and your journey, bro, but for me, if I'm looking back, I think in myself, it might have helped me. It might have helped me a little bit to know, hey, I'm human. I'm not perfect. No. And my mom and dad never told me that they were perfect, but the way they moved, right?
Yes.
They were on time to church. We can't miss church. And we have to go to the activity. It's a church softball game. It's a church picnic. It was like our lives depended on being active in those activities.
Yeah. And that can cause a lot of angst just in that, and anxiety and all that stuff. I'll give you an example. So my youngest daughter, all my kids were really good in school, but my youngest daughter, she was getting 4.0s, and she was really into making sure she got a 4.0. And I told her, I go, I can't wait till you get an A-. She goes, what do you mean? I go, I'm going to take you to dinner when you get an A-. She's like, what? I don't want to get an A-. I go, I know, but you need to get one. Anyway, she's like, gets an A- because she's thinking that's not going to be as good. I'm like, no, did you do your best? Yeah, great. A-, let's go to dinner. That kind of thing. And so that's really ultimately what your point is do our best, but it's okay to maybe be late to church every now and then.
No, it's so funny that you
Right?
just brought that up because in the Polynesian, okay, so this is something that is, I just noticed it because I'm a Pacific Islander, but maybe it exists in other cultures too, is that thing that you have to be perfect, that you can't really reveal to your parents what you're going through. How are you? I'm good. How's homework? You just show them the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Right? You just show them that you are doing what they're doing, but really you're going through it.
Yeah.
You're just like you said, like that thing. That's crazy. That I just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're always, even to this day, Pacific Islanders are still trying to impress their parents.
Yeah. We're trying to make sure we're doing everything right and this and that, which is not a good. It's just not good.
Yeah.
And to bury those real, true feelings down, as real as we're saying we should be. Hey, I'm not going to church today because I'm watching the game. How you doing today? To be honest, not too good. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm struggling.
But see, you just pointed out something that doesn't usually happen until we become adults, right?
Later.
So again, imagine if okay, now that we are adults, we need to change that, right? We need to make sure that it's happening now instead of
absolutely
realizing it as an adult. I wish my parents, right? So thankfully, my wife put her foot down and said, I'm not going to have any of this. You need to get help, and we love you. You need to get better.
Yeah.
And it really took that first step to go and have a conversation. And I told you this before we started.
Yeah.
I had no idea that actually talking to somebody, because again, remember, I had this stigma that talking to somebody one-on-one is not a good thing. Again, my church upbringing, I was always afraid of going to talk, the bishop or whoever it was, because I had this one-on-one closed things, the doors, and it was always a person who was unrelated to. It was either my uncle, or maybe it was my aunt, or it was a cousin, my dad. I always had a relative in a superior place of spirituality. How do I do that? How do I describe that? Authoritative role.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I never got away, right? So I would reveal these things thinking they would stay there. Oh, they would surface in family functions.
Yeah,
now everybody knows. Like, oh, shut your mouth before you masturbate again. Ah! Oh my gosh, that was private. You weren't supposed to, right?
Yeah.
And so I just felt angst everywhere.
Well, so no wonder you don't want to share.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just realized that, T. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just realized that because the people that I'm related, because the people that were my spiritual leaders were also my family. I never felt like I could really get out, because I saw them at functions, family functions, church functions. They were my scout leaders. They were, holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And then when you're not able to share and talk about it, then therefore you're suppressing these feelings, and therefore you think something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
You think you're different, so you can't connect. And then you think, well, my problems no one would really understand anyways, so I'm not even going to bring them up. And so now you're left dealing with this on your own, and that's a scary place to be sometimes.
Yeah. And for me, I think that was a big moment for me right there.
Wow.
That was a big reveal, because now it's actually helped me connect this thing that happened during the pandemic. So I took a sabbatical from work because I was feeling anxious, and everybody was feeling anxious. Everybody could feel it, but I felt it more so because I was, for years, I had been putting on this happy-go-lucky, funny ha-ha-ha face, the good energy, the good juju. I was saving it all for the show, and I was doing it even more so during the pandemic because I had nobody to talk to. So I would go home and I'd have to quarantine because I was still out in the public.
Yeah.
So I had to, in the garage, I had a different set of clothes. I had wipies, and I had this whole routine. Come home, wipe down. I was doing that for months.
Wow.
I want to say almost a year.
Man.
I was doing that because We didn't know what it was.
Yeah, we didn't know it was going to happen.
I knew it. I mean, I was stuck out in the field. It happened March 11th, 2020, right? 2020, March 11th. I really remembered it because that was the same day that I was waiting to hear the announcement on the Utah Jazz, and that was when that whole thing with Rudy Gobert happened, and I was out in the field working. At the time, I was working for Fox 13. I was a feature reporter, and it was just like somebody had just punched the entire world in the gut.
Right.
I remember it was like what? Mm-hmm. Wait, this thing that everybody thought was going to go away because it was like a flu? Wait, what? It's now a pandemic? So I went back and I everybody was going out to Zoom. They were telling everybody, go to Zoom. Mm-hmm. I thought about what my job was. Comic relief, a breath of fresh air from the hard news.
Yeah, right.
Dude, you need me more than ever. Don't send me home.
Absolutely.
This is where you could use me. We don't know what's going on. There's no way we're going to cover this virus 24/7. You're going to need a break.
Absolutely.
People are still going to need to eat. People are still going to need to find a way to escape. So we agreed that I should stay out in the field. Everybody went out. The next week, I'm so sorry.
You're good. It's under the pillow. Everybody wants a slice of Big Budah today.
It's a new phone.
Oh, is it?
Because my old phone, I had that number for 20-something years, so I have a new phone, new number. So people are calling me thinking I'm somebody else. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm going to turn this off. I apologize.
No, you're good.
I should have turned it off to start with. Okay, not going to ring again. All right. So the next week, the earthquake hits.
Yeah.
Right? And in Magna. So I'm somewhere else. Now I'm the only live reporter out in the field. Now, those of you who don't understand, people may not realize that this is a big deal. It's a big deal because I'm a feature reporter. I don't do any hard news.
Right.
I don't do any fires. I don't do any traffic. I just do the lifestyle, lighthearted. I'm the fluff.
Yeah.
I'm like Bruce Almighty, but I don't want to be the anchor. So if you've ever watched that movie, that's who I am.
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
Bruce Almighty, but I don't want to be an anchor.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any of that stuff to Steve Carell. Yeah. I love my job. Okay, T, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah,
I love my job.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a great show.
So that's what I do for a living. That's my job.
Yeah.
So excuse me. So you don't send that guy to a serious news story. But I was the only one out in the field.
Oh, man.
So you had to cover it. So I went out and I did it. And again, I was the first one to do the 6-foot mic stand. Mic pole, I'd reel it into me, ask a question. So tell me about your donuts, and then I'd reel it out to them so they can answer, reel it back in. Wow. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah,
I don't even know if people remember that. And then it went to now it can be instead of the long 6 foot, now it can be just the distance of your arm. But I had the long cone microphone. Then the riots happened. Remember the Black Lives Matter? Yeah, Utah, we had riots. T, do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So again,
man,
everybody, all the reporters were told, go to the station, and you did all of your stories there. So everybody from Fox, we went there except me. Because again, I got to keep things going. So I was sent out. Again, it didn't hit me till later. All of these things building up, the pressure of being out in the field by yourself. Everybody else is home Zoom. I didn't think about it at the time. It wasn't until a year after the pandemic when things started coming back, people started coming and getting close. It started to freak me out.
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
Like, whoa, I had a whole year of this. Because remember, nothing had changed for me except the fact that people were scarce.
Yeah.
And so I had to do a lot of things on my own. This mask thing, I had to wear a mask. I couldn't wear. I don't wear a mask. Wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. Wear a mask.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like a guinea pig, being sent out. What are we allowed to do? What is the safe distance? And during my commentary, I would point out things that is right in front of us, but we're not thinking of it. For example, people would tell me, "Hey, how come you don't have a mask?" I said, "I have a mask on now, but did anybody tell the virus not to attack my eyes? Or going through my ear holes, or go on my skin that's exposed?" I said, this is too much.
Yeah.
And people would start to push back at me, and I would just I said, you know what? I'm gonna flip out. I'm gonna do something or say something. I'm feeling anxious all the time. I said, I've been quarantining myself. I said, in the garage doing this.
That's intense.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then when I'd go out, people would be, it was almost like they didn't care. Like they didn't have a mask, and I didn't care about that. But it was just like they would go out of their way to tell me, hey, in my face, why do you have to wear a mask? Or, bro, I don't care if you're wearing a mask. I said, I don't want to wear a mask either, but I have to because my job tells me to do so.
Right.
And it was just, that push where
totally.
I have to ride this line.
Yep.
And the public is telling me to do something else, and they just don't understand. I couldn't, it's like doing a crazy skit on TV
Right.
that could potentially be dangerous. You got to say, kids, don't try this at home.
Yeah. Don't do this at home. We're not.
So again, I was out in the field telling people, hey, it's okay to not to have masks and this and that. But the kids saw me. I'm wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. So everywhere it was like I was the poster child because I was the guy who was doing everything the same. Nothing had changed for me. The world had changed. Yeah. But my job hadn't. So a lot of it was the same thing, trying to put on this happy smile, but deep down I didn't know how to handle
that stuff
because I was still being isolated at home. So after work, I'd go home. I couldn't talk to friends. I couldn't hang out because remember they were being quarantined.
Yeah.
So for a long time, I had nobody. So I just had work and come home. I couldn't even be with my kids because I didn't want them to get sick.
Right.
Because I'm still out in the public. So that thing just weighed on me. I couldn't have my family with me, and my love for them. Like any person, if you love your family, you're gonna do the thing that I didn't want to hug. I didn't want to be in the same room because I didn't know what this COVID thing was. I didn't know if it would kill people. We were still new. We just didn't know anything about it, and that kind of put me in a bad place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so as things started to get a little back to normal, is this when you came up with this idea that you have on your, we mentioned that the Budahful Mind Foundation.
Yeah.
Talk about that and where that came about, because I love what you're doing here, because I think it came about because of your own struggle.
Yeah. So before I took my sabbatical, I actually tried to commit suicide.
Wow. I did not know that. Sorry.
No, it's part of the reason why we do this, and that's where the nonprofit came from. My job as a feature reporter, I just felt this thing that I wasn't doing enough good. I wasn't reaching enough people. Here I am, in my own words, I'm talking to myself. I'm faking the funk.
Ooh.
I'm like, really, pump fake? You gonna pump fake these people? You gonna pump fake yourself? This is me having a conversation. How do you go out every day and you put on this face that you're happy and you're, I've been doing it for so long that I could pretend like I'm happy. Yeah. I could do it. It's okay. But I was coming home and I wasn't happy. I had nowhere to turn. I had no one to talk to. I mean, the phone was there, but at that point, I didn't know who I could talk to that wouldn't laugh at me. That I just felt so alone, and I just felt I wasn't doing any good. I thought that my reports out in the field were not making a difference, that nobody gave a care. It didn't. I was acting like I was happy, but what was I doing? Was I making a difference? I wasn't making a difference. People didn't care about what I was doing. All they cared about was living.
Yeah.
I was hindering. I was a hindrance. I was causing people to have problems. I was taking away from the real problem, right? The real problem of being depressed, the real problem of actually taking a stand, talking. I was putting a Band-Aid on it, which was, hey, I'm at another donut shop. Ha, ha, ha. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so I just got to a point where, F it. There's nothing here for me. I'm not making a difference. Nobody will miss me, So I drove out to Wendover thinking I was going to go out there, maybe drink get into a fight and have somebody do it for me, because I knew I was chicken shit. I didn't have, pardon me, sorry about that. I knew that I didn't have the balls to do it, but I was scared.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I borrowed a pistol, 38, from my cousin. He didn't know what the pistol was for. I told him I was mad. I was going to use it for something. So he gave me his 38, and I drove out. All I could think about was I can do it here because on the side of the road, because I'm in the work vehicle.
Yeah.
It's the Budah mobile. It has my name on it, my face on it. It has the work logo. I mean, you can't miss it. It's a freaking eyesore.
Yeah.
Yeah. if I ever went to a strip club in that thing, people would call and tell on me. They're like, your reporter's over here at a strip club. He's not doing a story.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I couldn't go anywhere in that thing and not notice.
Yeah.
So I figured that'd be a great way, because as I'm contemplating, I'm thinking about, I don't want to do it this way because my wife and my kids are they're gonna have to carry me, lift me up off the rope. These are the dumb things I was thinking about. Like if I used a knife, I was thinking about, I didn't want my kids to find me in a mess. That I didn't want that last memory of them seeing me. Yeah. That be their last memory of me.
Right.
Even though this thing I'm gonna do, they're gonna remember. I totally knew that, but at least they wouldn't see me in a mess. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I thought of it. So I drove out, and I figured I could do it here. I won't even do it in the truck. I didn't want anybody cleaning the truck. This is how dumb I was, how I thought about this thing. Yeah. So I parked the car on the side. It's right before you get to the gas. I'm not sure the gas station, but it's the sign that tells you to get off for like a expressway, like a racetrack, when you're heading to Wendover. Yeah, it's that. Yeah. So I just pull over to the side. Anybody's gonna see this. I'll be found. They'll clean up the mess. Done. The gun jammed. Wow. I had this rush of emotion when it didn't go off. I threw the gun, and all I could feel was this thankfulness, that it didn't happen. Yeah. I don't know. Wow. I was hell bent on doing it. But in the moment that it didn't happen, I had this relief. I don't know. I knew it wasn't my time. I know people say this all the time. When it's your time, it's your time. And I knew in an instant that I had to do something. There has to be some people out there who are going through the same things, and people who have to put on this face. DJs, people who are on TV, first responders, 911 operator. And again, I didn't think about any of this stuff before that happened. And when it hit me, I'm like, there are a lot of way more messed up people than me, and people are doing important stuff, who need help, who need to know that if they saw me on TV laughing my ass off, doing this thing, that guy is not good, which means none of us are good. Yeah. If my job is to make you feel good and feel happy, and I'm supposed to look happy, and I'm not, bro, none of us are. Yeah. Right. And that's my job. I'm supposed to do it every day. Yeah. So I knew that there was something wrong, and so that's when I took the sabbatical. On the sabbatical, my wife let me, she said, hey, go find yourself, rediscover your passion. Yeah. Go to Hawaii, visit your brother, do life-affirming things. Sure. So I was doing dangerous things safely. So I went to Hawaii. One of the things that we used to do when we were kids is you jump off the point. Yeah. And anybody who knows, if you're in Hawaii, you grow up in Hawaii, they teach you any beach. It doesn't matter. It's you have to respect the beach. You got to respect the mana. You get to a beach, especially if it's a beach you've never been before, and you have to watch the waves, and that tells you how to swim. In Laie, at the point, if you jump off the point and you try to swim right back, the riptide will pull you out. And everybody knows you never swim straight back. You got to swim parallel. and eventually come. You'll get tired, you'll drown. So it's the same thing. You have to know. So I've been jumping out, and I forgot. I forgot. I'm like, thinking about myself, I'm old. That's probably, what a current.
Wow.
Oh, Mother Nature is stronger than, pull you down. And it's that moment like, oh, shoot, I'm doing this wrong. Right, I got to do this right. It just, for me, another lesson, right? Part of it is another lesson, when you have a path and you know the outcome, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Why you got to reinvent the wheel when you already know? Yeah. Right? So this thing, like the therapy, and I told you this before, that talking to someone, I had no idea, had these amazing, fantastic outputs. Yeah. Right? And you just got to do it. It's been people before me have been doing it. It's nothing new. Someone has been doing therapy and they have stories. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a human psyche thing or a Pacific Islander thing where I think I'm strong or I think I know how to do it. Yeah. These therapists, they are trained to really help you to understand what you're looking at, right? So that's why I started the nonprofit. Gotcha. It's because I felt like in this world, especially with the TikTok, social media, we're all trying to put out this happy facade, but deep down, there's got to be people messed up like me, and I don't mean that facetiously.
You're struggling, for sure, absolutely, yeah.
So I thought, you know what? Maybe if I had a friendly voice to talk to, so my job, we didn't have any peer counseling, and I know a lot of jobs don't do that, and I don't know why, but to me. In that instance, I thought maybe if somebody who was doing my job in my profession, in my industry, a friend of mine, I don't have to know that they're a peer counselor right away, but maybe they send me a secret list. Hey, here are our, do not share this. These are our peer counselors. Yeah, exactly. So again, that stigma of everybody knowing your business or whatnot, maybe it would have prevented me from even thinking about going out there, right? I don't know where the disconnect happened, where it took me from thought, from when is it going to happen to is it going to happen? Is it going to happen to it's going to happen? Yeah. Are you thinking about it or are you thinking about doing it? Because there's two different things.
Two different things.
I couldn't remember where it happened, and I just had this breakdown, and I feel sad for people who get there because I remember driving out. I didn't have one thought. I didn't have one thought of hope that I could pull out of this. I was going. Not once. I mean, I just, that was the thing in my mind. I'm driving. You just see your lights by yourself. And once you're there, there's no turning back. Right? But again, even driving there, if I had thought about crisis hotline, I didn't think about anything. I didn't think about a person that I could talk to. And I have often heard horror stories about people looking for help and then they have to qualify themselves. How sad are you? I mean, what brought you to this ledge? I mean, I don't know if that's true. Maybe I didn't do my due diligence, but I heard that and I ran with it. And I'm like, I don't want that to happen to anybody. And the thing is, we are focused so much on the person who is suicidal, who's having those thoughts, right? We forget about the people that are in the aftermath. Yeah. The people that are left behind. And I didn't think about that until the moment the gun didn't work. Jeez. About how I was going to leave all these people behind. Yeah. And remember, I was thinking about how to do it and not accost my family. I didn't want them to find me a certain way. I didn't want them to find a mess of blood because I was worried about all of that. Yeah. And so when it didn't happen, I was thinking to myself, there has to be a better way, at least get the help. So my thought was, in this nonprofit organization, we're building this technology. It's an app. It's a one tap away, and everybody has a different level of comfort, whether it's voice to voice, phone call, whether it's text message, where you can still talk, or is it FaceTime, video chat. So the app. I want the app that we're designing, or we're helping a lot of smart people working on it. It'll be kind of like an Uber for therapists, an Uber for licensed counselors, where they have to register. And I'm feeling anxious. Whenever I press the app, a call goes out. Who's available to talk, right? And it's just a friendly voice. They are the experts. They can determine. They can pull out all that information and then write it down and get you to the actual help. So where you at? You're in California. They know how to. They don't have to ask the. So you're feeling anxious right now, but where you live in, they know how to do that.
Yes.
The problem is I don't want to ask them to do it for free. So my foundation, we want to raise funds to pay for that,
to help pay for
because they have families too. We don't want to cause another problem where they feel anxious.
Exactly.
So I don't want to take away from. I don't want this to be a problem for the insurance. It's just a crisis hotline to get them help. We're not going to take away. I want it to be free. So maybe 30 minutes. I don't know. We have to figure it out. We have to get help, but it'll be for everybody in the world who feels. And again, it's expensive. I'm doing the math. It's super expensive. The infrastructure is not there. But as I'm talking to therapists and people, clinical counselors, there's nothing like it. But they all tell me, man, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So again, why not? Let's make this like a 911 World Fund.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I don't know. I don't have all the answers.
Well, no, I agree. I mean, just to have an app knowing that I could have instant help in the moment I'm really struggling, and get directed to the exact person I need to talk to then and there. That's huge. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think it's fantastic, and I'm so grateful that you're willing to put this together.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And you know what I want to say is that's why I came here too. Is one, because you're doing it, and we need to come together. Maybe we've all had this idea and nobody's put it out there. Yeah. I want to put it out. This is a world. This is a human app.
Yeah.
But somebody has to start it somewhere, and I don't know if I was the first. I'm not saying that I am the first. I'm just saying I could have used it. I really could have if I knew it's a stranger who's going to talk to me. Maybe that drive on the way
as
there,
you're talking, would have brought you back. Yeah.
And
totally.
and I don't know if we could even do triangulation, because I'm talking about saving lives.
Yeah.
But again, there's people out there who are smarter than me. I'm asking you to please help me get this to fruition, because I would love for my brother, if he's in a space, or your brother, or somebody's mom, or somebody's aunt, and say, you know what, I was feeling anxious. All I needed was a friendly voice.
That's all I needed.
That's it. There are crisis hotlines out there. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm saying is that maybe we need to fix and the process on how to get help, because there's too many qualifiers.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what scared me away from calling. Wait, is your problem a first responder problem? Okay, then you got to go here. Is your problem deal with family? Okay, not family? Then you got to go over here. There was two. Yeah. I wanted one place.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what kind of anxiety. It doesn't matter what kind of depression. We'll find it.
Yeah.
We just got to get you because in my mind, you guys you men and women are the ones who know the space, regardless if it's specialized or not. You know how to talk to somebody who's anxious, who's at their ledge. And I don't want you to have to do it for free. You've put your training, you went to study with some of the best teachers and instructors out there. We shouldn't have to create another situation where it causes you stress.
Exactly.
And there's enough of us. So, and my philosophy was, when I talked to you about the cancer thing, right?
Right.
We have companies who are pouring billions of dollars into a disease that has no cure in sight. Why can't we do the same thing for disease that has no cure in sight, that is not as sexy?
Right.
Mental health and suicide. Yeah. I know cancer is the sexy disease because when you have that disease, you're a martyr. Everything else doesn't shine. Everything doesn't step up to cancer. All I'm asking are companies out there, if you're willing to throw money at a disease that doesn't have a cure in sight, I'm just asking you to split that donation and put it into another disease that doesn't have a cure in sight, but who could use a lot of help. That's all I'm trying to do.
No, I love that, and I love what you're doing there. So tell people right now who are listening, how would they help? Where would they go? What's the website, and kind of explain that? Yeah.
So Budahful Mind, Budahful Mind Foundation.live. We did it that way, pun intended.
I like that. Yeah, I love that.
Right? Everything life affirming. And on there, right now we're trying to raise funds and awareness. So we're trying to do a lot of life affirming, because it is an expensive application, and to keep the funds going, it will be expensive. Again, that's why I'm trying to use the cancer model, Because people would say, oh, that's a lot of money. I know, but you don't seem to have a problem putting it in here and there's no cure. That's all I'm trying to make you understand is that when somebody says to me, oh, we don't have money for something like that. No, you do. You're throwing billions of dollars to cancer. There's no cure in sight. We can alleviate the pain. We can help you with symptoms. That's all I'm trying to do for this thing.
Yeah.
You know, so when people say, I don't want to put money into something that you're already doing it. That's all I'm trying to make aware of. I had a friend, I'm not going to say his name, but he's a wealthy guy. I had a golf tournament, and it's for anti-suicide mental health. I say to my buddy, hey, can you get a foursome in for this thing that we're doing? He says, I don't play golf. I said, come on, bro, you missed the point. None of us play golf. This is not for golf.
Yeah, it's
for you have to see what we're doing. You got to see the forest through the trees, bro. That's
absolutely.
So again, and I think it's because it has that stigma, right? It's if I had said, hey, we're playing golf for cancer, you know what? I don't play golf, but I'll donate to cancer.
They'd be all over.
That's all I'm trying to do. So if you can go there, I MC and I host on the side as a side gig. But what I've been doing is people who have company parties, what I'll tell them is, look, I'll come and I'll donate my services if you donate to the nonprofit.
Oh, I love
That's how I do it. So instead of taking a talent fee, just donate to the nonprofit, and technically I'll come and do it for free.
Gotcha.
You know, it's a tax write-off. It's all that.
That's
so
great.
Just try to do what I can to help out.
And we'll put all that in the show notes and stuff so people can get to you and all that. Probably, you know, my last question to you, Big Budah, and again, this has been fantastic. Like, I love what you're amazing, and thanks for your vulnerability today. Seriously, like, that's amazing.
You're too kind, T.
If someone's listening to your voice right now who's struggling, they're in a dark place, kind of like where you were when you were driving out there, what would you tell that one person right now?
For me, ultimately, it was about it can be a selfish thing. I know people talk about this all the time, but we don't really know what that person is going through, the demons and the darkness they're going through. So what I would say, if you're standing at your ledge and you don't feel like there's anywhere else to go, really try to focus on your loved ones, about them. I know it's crazy because we're doing this thing for us because we can't handle it. We're stressed out. We feel like we don't have any answers. We feel like there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
But when I thought about that I'm causing harm to someone else, that's where it really hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like those movies you see, you know, oh, you could shoot me all day long. Go ahead, shoot me. You're not going to get the secret. And then when they hold your family hostage, well, what about this? That's the feeling.
Yeah.
I can't handle that.
Yeah.
I cannot. I can't. So I thought of that. That's the thing that even to this day, it hasn't gone away. It's not a matter of when am I going to. That doesn't happen anymore. But there's still thoughts in my head that I'm not good enough. The world, I don't know if that's ever going to go away. But I have enough people behind me. I have therapists now who are helping me keep that at bay.
Yeah.
But that one thought, if you're on the edge, remember, you're going to be hurting others, people you love. And that's the thing. I don't want to hurt anybody else. Hurting me, I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't have a problem with. But when I thought of hurting myself is going to actually be hurting my mom, hurting my siblings, then it helped me change and realize that that's how deep this thing is.
Yeah.
So think about that. If you're looking to hurt yourself, you're not really hurting yourself. You're hurting others.
Yeah.
And once that thought sunk into me that I'm going to be hurting someone else, it made it easier. Is the thought still there? It's still there. But this thing of me hurting others, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So therapy, life-affirming activities, keeping myself busy, that's the nonprofit is keeping me busy. I don't want anybody to suffer through what I went through.
Yeah.
So if you go to the website, if you can donate, or if there's anything I can do to come and help out, come and speak to a company or do that. Again, I'm just trying to raise money. It's expensive.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we'll get to that. Beautifully said. I will add to what you said to that person who's struggling, who may be on the ledge. We need you. The world needs you. We won't be better without you. I know it may be dark, but we're here for you. If someone wants to reach out to you and ask you a question or just get some advice from you.
Yeah, I'll give you other information.
What's the best way for them to do that?
Email b_Budah@yahoo.com. And one other thing, those of us who are not, if your mental health is great, awesome. But those of us who are going through it, one thing that I realize, we don't like it when you ask us, are you almost cured? You know, the status report. Hey, how you doing? You done yet?
Yeah.
Is your head all right? That stuff really, I mean, I have learned to kind of navigate, but it does. It still, picks at you.
Sure.
You just never know what someone is going through.
Never know.
Yeah. Thank you for all the love and support. Everybody who on social media, they have been sending nothing but kind words, and that's why my TikTok video, I'm just doing funny things because that I've realized is a coping mechanism for me. Being fun and having fun and being funny.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you really are, and you're a great soul. You're a bright light that shines, and we all love you here. Honestly, you've been, like you said, you've been in the landscape of Utah for over 20 years. You've done amazing things. You've brought a lot of joy to a lot of people, and we do need you too, Big Budah. At the end of the day, we really do, and I'm so glad that the gun jammed and that you're here. Yeah. It's amazing.
You're doing good work, bro. Please follow my man. I'm going to post a shout out. We're going to take a picture, but please follow my man. He is doing good. We need people like my man Todd Inspires, man. That's what I'm talking about. Belief Cast. You inspired me, brother. Thank you so much.
That means a lot
for having me. Thank you.
Bet. There you go, Big Budah, folks. Man, he is he's an amazing individual, and his vulnerability today has truly inspired me, and hopefully it's inspired you. I'm sure that it has. If you have a family member or a friend or a cousin or a nephew, it doesn't matter, that's struggling, after you listen to this episode, share this episode with them because they'll need to hear what Big Budah had to say. And please reach out to him. Like I said, it'll be in the show notes. And I can't thank you guys enough for following me. It means the world, and we're doing a lot of good here, and because of you guys and Big Budah.
Let's be ladders. No more bridges. Let's stop being bridges because people are jumping off bridges. But let's be ladders.
Yeah, let's
help our brothers and sisters climb down.
Ooh, that's a good way to say that. I love that. There you go. Till next time, everyone. Take care.